I nearly dropped my coffee mug when I walked into my parents' kitchen that Sunday morning. There, spread across the marble counter, were my research papers, prototype designs, and the patent application I'd been developing for the past 3 years. "Finally cleaning out that mess from your old room," Mom said, barely looking up from her tablet. "Oh, and we took care of that patent thing. You can thank us later." My brother James, fresh from his corner office at Morgan Stanley, smirked over his imported espresso. "Can't believe you wasted 3 years on that AI healthcare nonsense while I made partner." "What do you mean, took care of?" My voice was barely a whisper. "Sold it," Dad announced proudly, sliding a check across the counter. $10,000. Not bad for a bunch of scribbles. The check seemed to mock me. $10,000. For an algorithm that could revolutionize medical diagnostics. For 3 years of my life. To whom? I managed to ask. "That nice Dr. Henderson from the country club," Mom beamed. "He said he'd make sure it got to the right people. Now you can focus on a real career like your brother." James's Bloomberg terminal pinged. He glanced at it, then did a double take. His face went ash white. The kitchen TV, perpetually tuned to CNBC, suddenly blared, "Breaking. MedTech giant announces revolutionary AI diagnostic algorithm. Stock soars 500%. My logo, the one I designed in my worthless home office, filled the screen. "The healthcare industry is witnessing a paradigm shift," the announcer continued. "Sources value the patent at over $4.2 billion. Mom's tablet slipped from her hands. Dad's coffee cup froze halfway to his mouth. That's your design," James stammered, frantically pulling up stock charts. "The one you tried to tell me about last Christmas. The one you said was cute but unrealistic?" I replied, watching Dr. Henderson on screen taking credit for my work. "The algorithm that would never work in real-world applications?" Mom reached for the check they'd given me, but I'd already torn it to pieces. "Honey," she started, "we didn't know." "Yes, you did," I cut her off. "I showed you the projections, the test results, the validation from leading hospitals. But you were too busy bragging about James's bonus to listen." My phone buzzed. My lawyer was calling. Unlike my family, she'd believed in my work from the start. She'd also insisted I keep detailed records of everything. "The patent transfer," Dad began, his voice shaking. "It's not legally binding without my signature?" I finished. "You mean this signature you forged?" I pulled up the document on my phone, watching their faces as they realized what they'd done. Forgery. Fraud. Theft of intellectual property. James was already dialing his legal team. Always looking to protect the family reputation. Dr. Henderson's press conference continues. The TV announced. The algorithm's ability to detect early-stage diseases with 99.9% accuracy is being hailed as the biggest medical breakthrough of the decade. "My breakthrough," I corrected as my lawyer's message came through. "Emergency injunction filed. Press conference in 1 hour. Don't say anything to anyone." Mom reached for me. "Darling, we were just trying to help." "Help who?" I stepped back. "Help James feel superior. Help Dr. Henderson steal my work? Help yourselves pretend your daughter wasn't capable of something revolutionary." The TV switched to stock tickers. MedTech's value had increased by billions in minutes. All thanks to my silly little project. "We can fix this," Dad insisted. "I'll call Dr. Henderson right now." "No," I said firmly, gathering my original research notes. "My lawyer will call Dr. Henderson. And his board. And the SEC. And then we'll see who thanks whom." Another news alert. Questions arise about origin of MedTech's AI breakthrough. Original patent documents surface. James's phone rang, his firm's compliance officer, no doubt wondering about his family connection to the biggest tech story of the year. "The patent was never yours to sell," I said, heading for the door. "And neither was I." Behind me, I could hear Mom crying, Dad arguing with James about legal exposure, and the TV continuing to announce the value of my worthless invention. By the time I reached my car, my phone was exploding with notifications. Tech blogs were already questioning MedTech's claims about the algorithm's origin. Screenshots of my early research papers were circulating on social media. A text from James. "The firm's launching an internal investigation. My position could be compromised. Please, we need to handle this internally. I thought back to last Christmas when I tried to show him my prototype. Cute hobby, he'd said before launching into another story about his latest merger deal. Another breaking news alert. Whistleblower reveals. Medtech's revolutionary AI algorithm may be stolen intellectual property. My lawyer called again. Emma, CNBC wants you live in 20 minutes. We can do it from my office. The SEC is already involved. As I drove, my car's display showed CNBC's coverage continuing. Sources close to the situation suggest the algorithm's true inventor is a young researcher whose work was allegedly misappropriated. Medtech shares halted amid investigation. My phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Henderson himself. Let's discuss this like reasonable people. Name your price. I thought about all the times he'd patted my head at country club events, calling me James's little sister with the computer hobby. Now he wanted to negotiate. Mom called 3 times. I let it go to voicemail. The last time she'd been this persistent was when she tried to set me up with Dr. Henderson's son. A real doctor, not whatever it is you're doing with computers. Another text from James. Morgan Stanley Compliance wants to know if I had any knowledge of your patent. What should I tell them? The truth, I typed back. That you were too busy mocking my work to actually understand it. My lawyer's office was already surrounded by press when I arrived. Through the tinted windows I could see Dr. Henderson doing damage control on CNBC, his usual country club confidence cracking under questioning. Medtech claims complete ownership of the algorithm, the reporter was saying, but these research papers dated 3 years ago. Emma, my lawyer greeted me, tablet in hand. The SEC has frozen trading of Medtech stock. Dr. Henderson's board is calling an emergency meeting. And your original patent application? It's time-stamped and backed up on 3 different blockchain networks. I smiled, remembering how Mom had called me paranoid for being so careful with documentation. The market value at Halt was $4.2 billion, she continued. But with the medical applications and licensing potential, we're looking at possibly triple that. My phone lit up with a message from Dad. Princess, let's talk about this. We can work something out as a family. The same way they'd worked out selling my patent without my knowledge? Dr. Henderson is trying to claim he refined your algorithm, my lawyer said, pulling up more documents. But we have your original code, your test results, even the rejection letter he sent you 2 years ago saying the technology wasn't viable. On the TV behind her desk, financial analysts were already calculating the impact. If these allegations are true, Medtech could face not just SEC sanctions but criminal charges for intellectual property theft. Another text from James. Morgan Stanley's launching a full audit of my involvement. Emma, you're destroying this family. No, I thought. They'd done that themselves, the moment they decided my work was worthless enough to sell without my consent. Ready for the press conference? My lawyer asked, straightening my jacket. The world wants to meet the real inventor of healthcare's biggest breakthrough. I looked at my phone one last time. Dozens of missed calls from my parents, James's increasingly desperate messages, and one new text from Dr. Henderson. You have no idea what you're doing to my reputation. Actually, I did. And it was just the beginning. I'm ready, I said, standing up. Let's show them exactly what that silly little hobby can do. The press conference footage played on every major network. Stolen genius. How a revolutionary AI algorithm was nearly lost to corporate theft. I sat in my lawyer's office watching Dr. Henderson's empire crumble in real time. Medtech's stock, when it finally resumed trading, had plummeted 70%. The SEC investigation was expanding by the hour. Your brother's firm has placed him on administrative leave, my lawyer informed me, sliding across yet another document. Morgan Stanley's internal audit revealed he had access to your early research through family connections. The same research he called a cute hobby? I asked, signing the latest affidavit. The TV continued. In a stunning development, leading hospitals worldwide are already implementing the Winters algorithm, named after its true inventor, Emma Winters, with remarkable results. Early detection rates have improved by 300%. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. The country club is asking us to resign our membership. How could you do this to us? I thought about all the dinner parties where they'd showcase James's financial success while dismissing my work as a phase. She'll grow out of this computer thing, they'd assured their friends. The patent rights have been officially restored to you, my lawyer announced. And the licensing offers are pouring in. Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins, Cleveland Clinic. A breaking news alert cut through. Dr. Henderson resigns as Medtexo amid fraud allegations. My lawyer smiled. He's facing criminal charges for the forgery alone. Not to mention intellectual property theft, securities fraud. Another text, this time from James. The firm's investigating my entire trading history. My career is over. I hope you're happy. Ms. Winters, my assistant interrupted. The White House Office of Science and Technology Policy is on line 1. They want to discuss national implementation. I picked up the phone as another alert flashed. Winters' algorithm saves first life. Early detection prevents fatal outcome. That was what they'd never understood. This wasn't about money or prestige. It was about saving lives. The licensing valuations are in, my lawyer said after I finished the call. Conservative estimate, $12.8 billion. Your hobby is now worth more than Medtech's entire market cap. My phone lit up with a message from Dad. Princess, about that check we gave you. $10,000. For technology that was revolutionizing global healthcare. Should we pursue additional charges against your parents? My lawyer asked quietly. The forgery alone. No, I decided. Watching their social status collapse as their daughter becomes a healthcare pioneer is punishment enough. CNN was running a special, The Winters Revolution. How one woman's algorithm is transforming medicine. The World Health Organization called, my assistant reported. They want to implement the algorithm in developing nations. I thought about Dr. Henderson's son, who Mom had been so eager to set me up with. He'd dismissed my work as playing with computers. Now his father was facing federal charges while my algorithm saved lives globally. Your parents are in the lobby, my assistant added hesitantly. They're insisting on seeing you. Tell them they can make an appointment through my legal team, I replied, reviewing the latest hospital implementation data. Another breaking news alert. Medtech board members resign en masse. AC investigation expands. James sent another text. Morgan Stanley's compliance team wants all our family communications from the past 3 years. What should I tell them? The truth, I typed back. That you were too busy counting your bonuses to notice your sister was changing the world. The TV showed hospitals across the country implementing my algorithm. Patient after patient being diagnosed early, treated effectively, saved by the technology my family had tried to sell for pocket change. The Nobel Committee reached out, my lawyer mentioned casually. Something about nominations for medicine and peace. I looked out my office window at the city skyline, remembering all the family dinners where they'd talked over my attempts to explain my work. All the condescending pats on the head, the dismissive remarks, the attempts to push me toward real careers. Ms. Winters, my assistant called. Time for your TED Talk preparation. I gathered my materials, including a frame containing that $10,000 check, torn to pieces and mounted as a reminder. 6 months later, I stood on the TED stage watching my algorithm's real-time statistics scroll across the giant screen behind me. 50 million lives impacted. 300,000 early detections. 98.7% accuracy rate. The Winters algorithm isn't just changing healthcare, I concluded my speech. It's democratizing it, making early detection accessible to everyone, not just those who can afford extensive testing. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. In the front row, I spotted James, no longer in his Morgan Stanley suit, but in more modest attire befitting someone now working entry-level at a local bank. My phone buzzed with the latest alert. Winters Health AI valuation reaches $50 billion as global implementation continues. Backstage, my team waited with more updates. The WHO implementation is exceeding projections, my COO reported. Rural clinics in developing nations are reporting 89% improvement in early detection rates. Another notification. Mom had posted on social media again, this time attempting to take credit for my success. Always knew my daughter would change the world. #ProudMama. I thought back to her words just 6 months ago. That patent thing was holding you back from a real career. My assistant approached with a tablet. Dr. Henderson's sentencing is tomorrow. His lawyers are making one last attempt at a plea deal. No deals, I replied firmly. Let him explain to a judge why he thought he could steal my work. The conference center lobby was filled with hospital administrators and healthcare executives, all waiting to discuss implementation of my algorithm. Among them, I spotted several doctors who had dismissed my early research as unrealistic. My phone lit up with a text from Dad. The country club board is reviewing our membership termination. Perhaps if you spoke to them. I deleted it without responding. Let them feel what it's like to be dismissed. The Nobel Committee called again, my assistant mentioned. They're announcing nominations next week. CNN was playing on the lobby screens. Winter's algorithm expands to pediatric care, revolutionizing children's health care. James approached hesitantly. Emma, about Christmas dinner this year. I'll be in Stockholm, I cut him off. The King of Sweden apparently wants to discuss nationwide implementation. His face fell. Gone was the arrogant brother who'd mocked my computer hobby while bragging about his Wall Street deals. Morgan Stanley's internal investigation concluded, he said quietly. They found emails where I'd dismissed your patent's potential to investors. And now those same investors are begging for meetings with me, I noted, watching another success story flash across the screens. Winter's AI detects rare conditions, saves child's life. My phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Henderson's son, the one Mom had tried to set me up with. I know it's too late, but I was wrong about your work. Delete. The Gates Foundation is waiting in your office, my assistant reminded me. They want to discuss implementation in underserved communities. I gathered my materials, including my original notebook, the one Mom had tried to throw away during her cleaning. Now its pages were being studied in medical schools worldwide. Emma, James called as I headed out. What Mom and Dad did, selling your patent. I should have stopped them. Yes, I agreed. You should have. But you were too busy feeling superior to notice what was happening right in front of you. My phone lit up with another alert. Winter's Health AI named Innovation of the Decade. Founder becomes youngest recipient of Global Healthcare Impact Award. In the parking lot, I passed Dr. Henderson's former parking space at MedTech. Now just another empty spot at a struggling company. My algorithm had decimated their market value while saving millions of lives. Your parents called again, my assistant said as we reached my car. They want to know if you'll attend their country club appeal hearing. Tell them I'm busy, I replied. Changing the world takes time.